What's going on, everybody? Today we are going to calibrate the WiiM Amp Ultra using Magic Beans and of course, the Spatial Audio Calibration Toolkit. We got a promotion going on right now. Check out the links in descriptions with the coupon codes. All right, I've got Mr. Joe and Tell on the other line here.
All right, so what are we calibrating today exactly?
These are the SVS Evolution Nano bookshelf speakers.
And the subwoofer
is the SVS PB-1000 Pro.
Now, I know you have this connected to the WiiM Amp Ultra.
Ultra, yes.
And yeah, the WiiMs I love these products just because they're affordable, they sound great, and they offer PEQs.
For you at home that don't know what that means, parametric equalizer.
Okay? Yes. And so for Magic Beans, what we want to do is we want to export to a format that will work with the parametric EQ on the WiiM. Now, the thing about the WiiM amp is that it does allow you to tweak the delays for the sub and the main speakers, which is something that we're going to need to do. The one thing that it can't do, though, is we can't apply separate EQ to the sub itself. What we'd like to do today is use Magic Beans to figure out the target curve that's appropriate for these particular speakers, and getting the system sounding as good as possible in your particular room based on where you're sitting. So what some people are surprised about is that oftentimes, you'll get a slightly different EQ for the left speaker versus the right speaker because of where the speakers are placed, and if it's not in a symmetrical room, sometimes they need slightly different EQs. Not completely different, but just very slight, and you'll notice a difference. As of right now, how does the system sound currently?
I mean, it sounds pretty good. It's bumping in here. I do a lot of, I demo a lot of songs in here.
Okay.
If for those that can't, let me undo my active tracking and just say, I have this little sit stand desk I put in the middle of the room here. It's on wheels and stuff. The couches are kind of like off to the side. It's not really ideal, but I sit in this little chair and have this little desk here. That's usually how I'm auditioning stuff speaker wise. If I'm watching TV, I'll put the desk to the side and jump on one of these couches.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I think one thing that we can do today that most people haven't seen, there are no videos out about it, is the car mode and Magic Beans. And car mode sounds like what it is. It's made for car audio tuning, which is something that I do. But in this particular case, it might be useful for what we're doing because we're going to set the crossover for the SVS speakers. I'm just going to say 80 for right now, just because it's a good baseline and just easy for people to remember.
Yep.
But because we don't have separate EQ, we're going to use the car mode to limit the ranges so that we get the appropriate PEQ settings for the main speakers, and then the proper EQ for the sub itself. So I'll show you that in a bit. So right now, do you have a UMic 1?
I do. It is right here.
UMic 1. We have the latest version of Magic Beans here. And on the right, we have the WiiM Home app. This is the mobile app, right?
Correct.
The iOS version. So when we go here, this is kind of like what you'd see if you were to use it on a phone or tablet.
Mm-hmm.
And as of right now, you have your sub set to 0 dB, crossed over at 80 hertz.
Is that something we want to have on when we're taking these measurements, or no?
Well, we're going to have to disable it manually. So here on the WiiM amp, you can see that you can set the delay for the subwoofer and the main speakers separately. So that's really cool, because usually what you need to actually do is not delay the sub. You need to delay the main speakers to equal the sub.
Right, because the sub's always going to be slower.
Yeah. Just because it has DSP built into the sub, things like that. And usually it's the furthest away. So the WiiM does have an automatic sync function that, in my experience, works pretty well. Okay. And that just uses your phone mic. Here in the audio settings, I can set it so that all the volume goes to the left speaker. So we're going to go left, right, and then the sub. In Magic Beans, I'm going to go into car mode. We're going to choose 3 channels, right? So left, right, and sub. This is something that's a little different here that you might not have seen before, but it's selecting the frequency ranges for each channel. For now, we'll just say 20 hertz to 80 hertz for the sub. play pink noise from the toolkit. I know in previous videos, we've done the near field measurement in a different way, but that was the old way. Don't follow that way. And in this particular case for the SVS, we're going to point the mic right in between where the tweeter and the mid-range is. The optimal point is different for each speaker, but from previous measurements that we've done for SVS, we found that that's around the optimal location.
Okay, so I'm going to go to periodic pink noise and spatial audio calibration toolkit and do front left, right?
Okay, so you're going to start at about 1.5 feet.
Okay.
And you're going to move it back to about 3 feet. Okay, very good. Now let's take a measurement from the main listening position. Okay, you're pointing the mic at the speaker and you're moving in a circular motion about the width of your head. Okay, Here we go. Awesome. So now we're going to do the second speaker, which is going to be the right speaker. There are ways where you can measure the speaker's full range and then the sub beyond the 80 hertz frequency as high up as it can go. You know, there are different ways to do this, but for the sake of this video, we're going to keep the crossover at 80 hertz. So we're pretty much done with the measurements. You see it's generating the filters required now. And then we're going to call this Donna 2.1 SVS. But before we do that, let's take a look and see what the measurements actually look like. So with the Pro version of Magic Beans, you can look at individual measurements. All you do is you drag and drop all these in, and we can start to take a look at what the corrections are for each speaker. So what we're looking at first here is the near field response, which is pretty decent. Yeah, I like that. The MLP response here, right, from the listening position. And then this is the correction that it recommends. What the room is doing to the sound. It seems like a pretty reflective room. Am I right?
Yep.
Saying that? So second root curve is the right speaker. You can see it is still similar, right?
Yeah.
If we look at the near field response for the right speaker and the near field for the left speaker, you can see they're very, very close. So you did a good job measuring the near field. We expect them to look very similar. But at the listening position, are they still similar? Let's see, first one and second one, MLP. Yeah, they're still similar. But what starts to differ here is the bass.
Down there, yeah. The bass, yeah.
Now let's take a look at your sub. This is the third one, the near field response to the sub. So you can tell you are getting response down to 20 hertz, right? Okay. Not perfectly flat down to 20 hertz, but you get the idea.
Good enough.
Nice and controlled. What happens at your listening position? It changes from that to this.
Oh.
We want to take the unified response, right? Mm-hmm. And then we're going to export this to your WiiM, right? Okay. So we have the WiiM export here. Mm-hmm. Export. So unfortunately, there's no direct import for WiiM. So these have to be entered manually. We're going to utilize as many of the bands as possible. We'll use the 10 bands for the WiiM. We're going to have to manually enter these. Can you take a near field measurement now that it has EQ on it? So what I want to do is I want to verify that the correction that we made is actually good. Okay, as you can tell, that this is still the same room rise that we were seeing from before. So even if we have EQ, that doesn't change what the room is doing to the sound. I did a prediction. I used the calculation to see what I expected to happen if we applied the EQ, and that's here in yellow. So you can tell that in yellow, our predicted response and our actual response are lining up pretty well. Now, we also did the same thing. So I predicted that the MLP response would be something like this, right? And this is the actual MLP response. Boom. So it's doing what we want it to do. Right here, what Sean is doing is he's playing pink noise out of the left speaker as well as the sub. And I'm making adjustments to the gain and the crossover, also the polarity, to find out which combination of settings will make the acoustic response of the main speaker and the sub match the target curve best. Probably should do right now is get the time alignment with this app.
With the
so
WiiM?
on your phone, can you do subwoofer and speaker sync?
Applied plus 6.813 milliseconds to the main speakers.
All right, cool. That's what we expected. So good. So now both of those should be aligned. If we play pink noise again, we should get summation, because if they're not in alignment, then you're going to get cancellation at the crossover point. All right. So somewhere around there. Now the EQ is for the sub is not perfect just because we're only working with 3 bands of EQ. Yep. Preferably we'd want more, but we're just limited on the WiiM for right now.
Yep.
Why don't you check that out? See how it sounds.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, yeah.
She's handing it thick here. And she belongs with me. We need to get her out of here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. I can't wait to watch some more movies. Okay, music.
I feel it when I'm alone. Repeat like a prayer.
Oh. Oh, shit. Damn, this is amazing. This sounds so much better. Holy shit.
Sound good? Sound smooth?
Yeah.
High sound good.
The subs and the speakers are really dialed in. Like, wow, it feels like I don't want to swap the speakers out again. Shit.
Yeah, so overall, I would say, you know, I'm decently happy with how this turned out, given the limitations that we have with the WiiM and the limited bands of PEQ, and the fact that we're not going crazy here. We're just trying to keep this like a more simplified video. We're not going into the impulse response for the sub and getting the timing perfect and applying, you know, we're not going crazy with it. We're just saying if you have limited stuff, you can use some of these tools to dial in your system and at least get the levels correct, you know, tame some of the crazy frequencies.
Yeah.
You know. So hopefully that's useful.
Well, thank you, Joe. And don't forget, everybody, we've got a Father's Day sale on the Spatial Audio Calibration Toolkit and for Magic Beans as well. Just check out the coupon codes and all the links down in the description. This sounds great. This sounds way better. I can't wait to play more music in here. And thanks again, Joe.
Awesome. Hopefully we didn't get too crazy, but yeah, that was fun.
I don't know about fun.
Well, fun for me. I don't know. I like
it. It's fun. Yeah, but it definitely
also,
sounds a lot better here.
Quick plug: if anybody's interested in having remote calibration, this is the kind of thing we do remotely.
That's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.